right, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the FNB App Academy 2025. I am yours truly. My name is Karabo Mohole. This is a beautiful ecosystem to get you guys kick-started on building those beautiful apps of yours. All right, so our previous session focused on business development, and today's session is a wrap-up of our intermediate phase. Truly sad, but obviously it's amazing that we're moving forward to the completion of the App Academy. So today's recap will be a conversation with Talaha and Noluthando all the way from our Durban studios. Cannot wait for you guys to have a deep understanding of the intermediate phase with Noluthando and Talaha. All right, so first things first, I'd like to give a special shout out to all of our beautiful developers all around our beautiful continent. And of course, we have developers outside of South Africa, from Egypt to Nigeria, from Angola to Kenya. You guys are all truly welcome. It's really a beautiful privilege to have you guys part of the App Academy. We have a very special category for you guys at the App of the Year. So with that being said, let us meet the winners behind last year's Best African Solution, Disney Iwaju.
Look, as Accenture, we operate in 52 countries. And what really motivated us is, as we operate across the world, realizing that the best grown solutions are homegrown. So finding solutions for African problems by Africans, that's what inspires us to do that.
So as part of the judging panel as well.
Winners behind last year's Best African Solution, Disney Iwaju.
Look, as Accenture, we operate in 52 countries. And what really motivated us is, as we operate across the world, realizing that the best grown solutions are homegrown. So finding solutions for African problems by Africans, that's what inspires us to do that.
So as part of the judging panel as well, we did look at the app, and what we liked about it, that it had African graphics. It's told the Nigerian story, the language, the graphics. It's really something that you can take from Africa to the world with ease. So celebrating African culture.
African problems requires African solutions, but we need to leverage technologies that come to us throughout the world, but make sure that we're not adapting to solutions that are built for others, because it becomes very complex and expensive to do that. Best innovation is homegrown, and this app did exactly that.
All right, so congratulations right there from Disney Iwaju all the way from Nigeria. Awesome stuff, man. Let's congratulate them furthermore on our social media spaces. Speaking about social media spaces, we always love to hear from you guys, so don't be silent. Talk to us. Be engaging on social media. Don't forget to hashtag FNB App Academy. Let us know what these lessons have meant to you guys, but also what more would you love to learn from the App Academy. And speaking about social media, let us see what you guys have been up to on our social media spaces this week.
FNB Academy has helped me see how I can contribute to the tech industry, especially young women. 27.6% of women currently hold tech-related jobs, but I want to be the change to uplift us.
This platform has given me more than just technical skills. It has given me purpose. It has opened my eyes to the possibilities of the tech world and helping me realize that I do belong here.
I'm excited to keep going and to get my reward. To all my girls out there, curious about tech, you belong here too.
I'm truly excited about the journey ahead. I look forward to the upcoming week and to stepping boldly into the IT industry, equipped with the skills, knowledge, and the belief that I can make a difference. Thank you once again.
All right, beautiful. It's always amazing to see your guys' reaction on social media. So please keep those videos coming. It's always important to see what you guys have been up to on our social media spaces, but also to let the world know what is happening right here at this beautiful ecosystem, which is the FNB App Academy. Awesome stuff. So this is the perfect time right now to get into our session for today. A beautiful recap of the intermediate phase. I know that Nolotando and Talaha are eagerly waiting to have a conversation with us as we wrap into the questions that you guys have had through our social media spaces. So let us head over and meet Nolotando and Talaha. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm now joined in studio, straight from our Durban studio. I got with me Talha and Nolotando. They are instrumental with our IT varsity as we're now going to be looking into the recap phase of the intermediate phase. Talha, Nolotando, how are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. It's been an exhausting couple of weeks, but just so exciting and so rewarding.
Beautiful.
Yeah, hi, Garabo. I think on my side, things are less hectic, but it's been a journey, if I must say.
Awesome stuff. Look, it's always amazing to have you guys on the platform and also to engage with you guys. This will be our second engagement. Obviously, the first engagement that we had was the recap of the beginner phase, and now we're obviously diving into the recap of the intermediate phase. It's important just to unpack the questions that the developers have had on social media, just to literally get into the nits and bits of these particular questions. Are you guys ready?
All set to go.
Yes.
All right, cool. So obviously, Nolotando, we've had this discussion before, but obviously let's give a little bit of context. First things first, let's talk about our journey so far, Nolotando. What did we cover in the beginner section?
All right. So like I said, what a journey it has been. Super proud. I'd first like to just open to say I am super proud to everyone that's watching today that you guys have made it this far. I know it seems very small, but it's a big step towards where you guys want to go. Like I said, if you want to start a career or you want to venture into software development. So I think the first week we were introduced to the world of coding, beginner level. It was just for some that did not know how to code.
Yeah.
I think it was like a new challenge for them. We did see some videos being posted on social media. People were excited. The beautiful apps that people created using HTML, which is the first language that we learned on the beginner level. We then moved to CSS, which is styling. We learned how to, the basic things of how to style a menu bar, your app, if you want to move it maybe from the top to the down, how to create lists. So the first few weeks, or let me just say the beginner level, was just introduction to HTML and to CSS. Beginner level, you guys did create a superhero app. You guys did the Pine City Zoo app. And those are some of the apps that I have created myself. So I absolutely know how you guys must have felt. I know it is scary, to be quite honest, but it is exciting. I shared with you guys my journey when I first started coding. I was just like, I've seen this on TV, but just that I didn't understand the language, and it's been good. I think IT Varsity has been showing also some TikTok videos of you guys and the moment you guys, some of the apps that you guys have been creating. Week 3, obviously, we were introduced to the Pine City Zoo app. Now that was more advanced, if I must say, compared to the superhero app. And then before I even moved to the Pine City Zoo app, a lot of you used your own creativity, obviously shared on social media when it comes to the superhero app. The Pine City Zoo app, we learned now, it was a bit advanced, but it's the same thing, but it was more advanced when it comes to, creating pages for the animals, for the zoo. And you can even think okay, now you guys can actually create your own e-commerce stores. You guys will be able to create a website for a mall, because that's what the Pine City Zoo app was literally teaching you about. Um, with the live sessions, I think I hosted the Get Up as well, Get Up in
Yeah,
collaboration.
yeah.
We taught you guys how why it is important for a developer to use GitHub. What is GitHub? What can you use GitHub for? Which we highlighted was collaboration, where if you guys want to come together as a team, maybe some of you are based internationally, you are in Cape Town, one is in Johannesburg, you guys are able to work and collaborate as a team without ruining the actual code. So I think week one has been a lot for all of us, for I know for you guys as well, but you guys pulled through. Some people were just teaching other students on TikTok as well, on on GitHub, how to actually use GitHub as well. We've seen the live events on TikTok happening as well, with regards to week one as well. Tala hosted a live session where he talked about app strategies, which
Yeah.
was very informative, even for myself as well, because he taught us the different kinds of app. Because when you think about an app, we obviously, we're not thinking how that topic is advanced. We just say, I want to create an app. Maybe I want to create an app for maybe work with the labor department. But he taught us the different kinds of apps we need to know about. And if you are deciding, if I want to go this way, maybe I want to create like a hybrid app, where you can go, what to think about. Because at the end of the day, yes, we are promoting, we want you to grow, and we want you, maybe if maybe you are an existing web developer, we want you to grow. If this is new to you, you need to have that entrepreneurship mindset to say, okay, I have an idea, where do I start? Because
Yeah.
the starting point is very important. Where do I start and where do I go? Noting the fact that, or just reminding yourself that it is important for you to have an entrepreneurial mindset. We all want to contribute to empowerment, but it needs to benefit you as a person. I think he also highlighted that.
Yeah.
We moved on to principles of UX and UI design, which was, I think, a new topic, and it was something that was very interesting for us to learn as well. So it has, I think we've introduced a few topics for the beginner level, but I was excited for all of you guys to be, to be learning everything. And I think we had a lot to offer for week
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and we were happy with the feedback that we were receiving from you guys. Like I always say, be creative. If we say create this, a purple flower, does not mean that you should create a purple flower. You can create a pink flower as well, if that makes sense. So it was interesting. It has been an interesting journey. Week one took a toll on everyone. People gave up, people came back. We tried, we moved, we motivated. So I think the beginner level was the most interesting and challenging level
Wow.
for the team and for everyone as well. Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow, no, no, beautiful knowledge, Hondo, especially unpacking the importance of the beginner phase. And I think the most important thing that you also said throughout what you were speaking about is a lot of developers also have it in mind to say, where do I start, right? And obviously the beginner phase was all about that. But also, Hondo, just to add to your beautiful, answer is, someone probably is thinking, being in the app development journey, it's really complex. It's not as easy and straightforward as one may think it is. How do you guys now begin to compress everything all in this beginner phase and allow to give the developers all the important, knowledge that they need to be able to then step into, developing their app? Someone who's watching from outside saying, but is it really possible for you guys to squeeze all of these nuts and knowledges into this first phase? How do you guys do it? They're probably wondering. So do you have a little bit of context with that, Nolutando?
I think obviously when you do like self-reflection now as a person, either you want to start a business outside of web development, but it's also what I do with myself. I first ask, where do I see myself maybe in the next 5 years? And then if this is the path I imagine myself in the next 5 years, if I'd still find this thing interesting or what. Just try to navigate your own journey. Yes, there is competition out there, but I think there's enough pie for everyone, to feed on when it comes to information technology, especially web development in South Africa,
Yeah.
since we are trying to also just bridge the gap. And I know what App Academy did, it introduced coding to a lot of people. I mean, the number of people that sign up can attest to that as well. So I think uh, what I can add on is just try to do like self introspection and see whether will this work out for you. That's why I even advise my student that you literally have two options: either continue with your studies,
Yeah.
because that's the whole purpose of this program, was to introduce you guys to the world of coding, and that there is so much that because we do lack information as South Africans. So this was just like an introduction to this whole new world. I know when we think of IT, web development, we think it's for people who are smart. You know, we
Yeah.
sometimes call them IT geeks whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it's for everyone. I believe it's for everyone. It doesn't matter where you come from. And this, again, I'm saying this is the whole reason behind this project, was just to let people know that you can build a career, you can become successful with App Academy. I don't know if Tala wants to add on that as well.
I mean, yeah, it's been a tough journey. There's a lot that we try to squeeze into a very small amount of time. So, I mean, all the more reason, if you've made it this far, a big round of applause to you, right? It wasn't an easy thing that you did, but here you are. You managed it. You took it head on, and you've made it. So yeah, the App Academy, it's not everything you're ever going to need in the way of development. There's a lot of learning you're going to need to do, but it's meant to set you up with all of the right skills, all of the right knowledge, so you understand the industry and you have what it takes to get further. And we're going to be watching. We really want to see you guys after the App Academy ends. We want to see you getting out there and truly taking it further.
Beautiful, beautiful, Nolutanda and Talaha. Nolutanda obviously covering the importance of, the beginner phase and what went into that particular package of the beginner phase. And obviously Talaha now just added that there's a lot that really goes into, developing an app. But obviously this beginner phase is just, the stepping stone to give you guys the acquired knowledge to set you guys up for journeying in that particular aspect of the app business. All right, so Talaha, we have now moved into the intermediate phase, right, which is the next level where we took things, just a little bit high. Talaha, what can you really now take us through? What was covered, what was learned within the intermediate phase? I know intermediate phase really also covered a lot about APIs.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the intermediate phase, I know we caught you guys off guard with. We switched gears entirely. But you know what? That's the best way to learn. It's like gymming.
Yeah.
When you feel the weights getting a little too light, it does mean that you're getting stronger, but it also means you need to add on a little bit more weight because you've got capacity to grow a lot more. So that's what we kind of did to you guys in the intermediate session, where we introduced JavaScript. And before I go into the details about what exactly we covered, I want you guys to just think about it for a second, right? Think back to the 5th of May, I think, when the App Academy first started, where you were back then. And now think of where you are today, right? It's been crazy. There's been week after week of content, so you don't really get a chance to look back and take stock of everything that you've accomplished. And that's what this session is all about. It's just like reflecting back at the journey you've come. And you went from having no experience in coding to now knowing how to develop in 3 different languages. I mean, that's really, really impressive. We pushed you, we tested you to your limits, but you accomplished it. So, really, really well done to everyone. And so, yeah, in the intermediate session, in the intermediate phase, we introduced JavaScript. So previously in the beginner session, you did HTML and CSS. You learned how to build beautiful app layouts or build a structure of an app with HTML. You learned how to use CSS to then beautify it and make it visually appealing. And then in the intermediate session, we introduced JavaScript, which added a whole new layer to your development. It brought your apps to life. It added a deeper level of functionality on it. So whereas previously the extent of the functionality of your apps was just you click a button, you go to a next page. You click on an image, it opens up the image larger. Now your apps are entirely interactive. And we really put that to the test in the second week when we did the calculator app. So without switching pages, everything handled in the exact same page, you built a fully functional calculator app that allowed users to enter in numbers and perform mathematical equations. It's a simple app if you think about it, but there's a lot that goes into it, and the fact that you could pull that off in your what was that, your 5th week of coding, pretty fantastic things. And then finally, in the 3rd week of the intermediate phase, you built the contact book app. Now you can see things are starting to get a little bit serious. You're not playing around anymore. The contact book app was really impressive and really exciting to build, because you see how your code fits into a bigger picture. With the contact book app, there was this API that's living on a remote server, and you write an app that connects to that API, that connects to that backend and brings data from there. So you're not adding the data manually, right? And that's how it'll typically work in a team. There will be a data management team or a back-end team building their stuff on one side, and you as a front-end developer will come and you'll need to develop something that can communicate with what's been developed on that side. And that's what the contact book was all about. You built an app that connects to an external API that you've never seen before, that you had no part in developing, but you wrote an app that talks to it and brings information back from it, but also can push information up to it. So you can read and write from this database that's on a completely remote server. So that should give you a very good idea of how development and the world of development works. And of course, we had some incredibly insightful, exciting live sessions. I think in the first session of the intermediate phase, we did design thinking.
Yeah.
Design thinking is basically a user-centric, a human-centric way of solving problems, right? We always told you over and over again in numerous sessions that app development, if you're developing apps, it's to solve problems. Don't just develop for the sake of development, but there's an art to solving problems and building solutions, right? There's no point in building a solution that doesn't really work for people. Right? People are not like machines. They're very finicky. Sometimes something just doesn't appeal to them, and boom, your app just doesn't stick around with them. So design thinking addresses that. It teaches, that session taught you how to solve problems while keeping people at the front of your mind. So you develop solutions for them that they're going to be happy with, that they will enjoy using, not just to solve the problem, but to be an enjoyable experience. I think next then we went on to APIs and backend development, which we didn't get into too much of the technical things. That was more just to give you an idea of how it all works and how the front end and the back end fit into the bigger development picture. If you guys remember, there was the analogy of a restaurant where the front end is the counter where the customers walk up to, they see the menu up there, everything looks nice and clean and appealing, and it's a very enjoyable experience. There's a friendly person smiling at them that takes their order. That's the front end, right? And then what goes on behind the scenes in the kitchen, that's the back end. So the waiters at the front of the restaurant will send information to the back, say this person ordered a cheeseburger with extra pickles, for example. The kitchen, which is the back end, will know how to process that and send it back to the front end to serve to the user. So that's how, very simply, how back end development works. And that's what that lecture was all about. Then in the second week, we had a lecture on user-centric app development, which was the follow-up to the design thinking lecture. So you learned the principles of design thinking, but how does that specifically apply to app development, to you as a developer? So that's what that lecture was all about. It showed you how to apply the design thinking principles specifically when you are developing apps. And then we ended off the second week with a lecture on data analytics and data management. Every app out there, right? You've seen with the contact book app, it has to do with data. So knowing how, on a very basic level, data management is a huge field. Data analytics, there are degrees and diplomas you can go and get on that. So we definitely just scratched the surface of it, but it's important for you to have a general understanding of how that all works. And then this week, or earlier in this week on Tuesday, there was the business development lecture. You are acquiring all of these skills, you're working hard, you're turning yourselves into highly proficient developers. The very next step, natural next step for you needs to be, how can you turn that into a money-making machine? How can you make those skills work for you to earn an income for yourself? So turn your skills and your development, or the apps that you develop, into a business that generate recurring income for you. That's what that lesson was all about. And it's very important that you start thinking that way. A lot of developers just get stuck into their code and that's all they want to think about. But it's not going to achieve anything for you if you just sit on your computer. You have to apply yourself truly. I'd say even 50% of your time to thinking about and working on turning those skills into a way of earning an income for yourself.
Wow, Talaha, I think you have, systematically taken us through the intermediate phase, which is really, imperative, important for us to understand what really goes into, building these beautiful winning apps. But I think the most important that you also mentioned, looking into the aspect of the design thinking module, looking into building, apps that bring about real, solutions to real problems, right? And oftentimes, we look into, for example, apps that bring about, financial inclusion, a greater sustainable economic growth, which is truly important to, bring sustainability to our beautiful economy, right? But also now, Talaha, I want to ask you this. You spoke about food. You spoke about back end, front end, obviously, the context of a kitchen. Obviously, when we look into what goes into the App Academy, right? There are modules that have been set for the developers to go into systematically. But as you say, the intermediate phase has been a lot of, you bombarded them with so much, knowledge. But obviously, just looking back into the beginner phase, do you guys just move them into the next phase, or do you make sure that, the information that you're giving them, that the people are not left behind? So you are, keeping tabs on, the developers. Are they on track with the lessons that are coming up, or do you just go from one lesson to another? I just want to understand from that aspect.
Yeah, so I mean, it goes back to the design phase of the curriculum for the App Academy. It's a lot to take in, but we try to break it up in a way that we knew people would be able to absorb it one bite at a time. So small little bite-sized pieces of information. We're not trying to dump everything on you all at once, but every week we'll just introduce one or two new things for you to grasp and understand before moving on. So yeah, that's how we ensure that everyone would understand. And we are always keeping an eye on social media, on our support channels, like the email addresses we've been sharing. So yeah, anyone who has trouble, let us know and we'll get in touch with you. I see there's something that's very, very exciting and that I am so thrilled to see is the level of community engagements. I mean, sometimes someone will ask a question on our TikTok comment section, and before we can even get to it, there's 3 or 4 other students that have helped that person and got them to resolve their error or the issue that they were having. So that's just been so lovely to see.
Beautiful. Talaha, thank you so much for covering the importance of the intermediate phase. But now obviously, Norotando, speaking about error, right? Error, a mistake. I'm going to ask you, can I, now Norotando, use AI to fix an error, or is that regarded as cheating?
Okay, so you can use AI, which we highly do recommend. I mean, if you talk about era, you talk about the fourth industrial revolution. AI is a powerful tool, and I think it's something that we've all been introduced to. So we do highly recommend that you use AI, but to guide you, not to cheat. So, talking from experience, debugging is not easy. Sometimes I would have to send my assessment to my fellow, classmates to just just find that bug, because a bug means a single comma or a full stop ruins your entire coding. So let's say you have that bug that you've been trying to find, but you literally just can't find that bug. You can then ask AI to find that bug for you. So I hope it explains well in terms of when I say yes, you can use AI to guide you. It is a powerful tool, and most developers do use AI. So you can maybe you're thinking of, you already have like you already have like a website, or you have code, you have this code, you have this project or this app that you've created, and maybe you want to add like a bit of styling. Maybe you want to make your images pop out when they click on that certain page. You can ask AI to guide you on maybe some functions. Maybe it's, if it's styling, maybe to add a few codings on your index.html page. So that's what we mean. You can, and I as well, because I use AI a lot since I am in the IT industry. I use it myself also just to guide me with a lot of things. So you have that app, you don't know what to do, you want to use your creativity, use AI, right? If you have that debugging, your code is not working, you've literally done everything at this point, you've asked people, and maybe the code just doesn't seem to work, because I think that's one of the challenges with coding.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work. That small thing, your spelling error. I remember I used to make this mistake of writing. Remember, your homepage must always be that index.html. The L would come first and the M would be there. And then when you put it to chat or AI, whatever AI tool you use,
Yeah.
you find that you, the spelling was incorrect. So it's those little things that ruin your coding, but it's very hard to find. Trust me, you could literally be staring at your computer for hours and sometimes days, sometimes weeks. But and when you find out, it's just that one thing. So I say yes, yes, yes. You can use AI.
Yeah.
I think it's important to use AI to guide you and help you, but not do the work for you, because then
Yeah.
you're cutting yourself
I was
short.
about to, I was
So
about
even
to,
like if you yeah, like if you wrote a piece of styling and it's not working the way that you expect it to, and you can't figure out why, paste it into an AI tool, into an AI chat box, explain what you're trying to achieve and what the issue is, and instead of having it give you the fixed code, it will explain to you exactly why it's not working the way, and that's going to help to sharpen your understanding of coding, and take it to a whole new level. So it's a amazing tool to use if you use it right.
yeah. So obviously, the instructors are saying you can use, the power of AI to guide you. But I also want to find out, obviously, where do we draw the line, right? In terms of, yes, AI is available. We all have the power of technology right on our fingertips. But now there are people that may use AI to do the work for them. But obviously, you can't monitor people. But now, where would we draw the line to say, let's rather use AI to guide you than allowing AI to do the work for you?
So, I mean, especially for the App Academy, we don't have that one-on-one support, although we would have liked to, but there's just way too many of you guys to facilitate that. The important thing to remember is that this is a personal journey.
Yeah.
And if you are using AI to build all of the apps and do most of the work for you, you're cutting yourself short. You're going to walk away with much less than someone who has put in the effort and actually done the work. So that's with your ongoing learning. But it's important to remember that at the end of the App Academy, there is going to be an assessment, an exam of sorts. And if you've been using AI to cheat your way through and not do all of the work, you're going to get caught out, and you won't know how to answer some of these questions, and you'll get left behind then. So if you cheat, you're only cheating yourself. Put it that way.
All right, guys, I'm still right here with Talaha and Nolotando right there in our Durban studio, having a conversation with them, which is beautiful. So let's also head over to our social media spaces, please, hashtag FNB App Academy, and let's also, talk a little bit, something beautiful and nice about Nolotando and Talaha, as they are dressed amazingly and look beautifully, but also they've been instrumental throughout this beautiful journey so far. So now I've got another question here that says, I can follow the lessons perfectly, but I don't fully understand how each line works, and I have trouble building anything on my own from scratch. What then can I do?
So first things first, don't panic. Every single developer has been there. I know you get very excited after you finish a tutorial and you think you can open up a project and just start belting out lines of code, and then you just get stuck. You don't know what the very next line to write. It's a normal part of the learning journey, and it's something that you will overcome. And the only way to do that is practice, practice, practice. When you're done with the lessons and you've completed the tasks for that week, don't stop there. Start off by first tweaking and twisting that app. move things around, shift lines about, change the values of your properties in your CSS file. See how all of these things interact with each other. That's going to help you understand how each line works, and it's going to help you familiarize yourself with each line a little bit more. Once you're done with that, practice by building a little project of your own that's very similar to the one that you learned, but try to do it from scratch, but keep your existing code open on standby as a reference. So go back to it as many times as you need, reference it, copy lines from it if you need, and that will again just reinforce your understanding of all of the concepts that were covered. And just keep challenging yourself. Once you're done with the lessons, I mean, I know some of you guys, the second day of the done with the lessons, even if there was like 20 or 30 lessons, you just belt them all out. But yeah, don't stop there. Use the rest of the time until the next lessons drop to experiment, challenge yourself. If you can't think of any tasks or challenges, your friend AI comes to the rescue again. So what I love doing personally, and I encourage all of our students to do, is when you learn something, right, go to an AI like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, explain that you're a student, you're learning such and such technologies. I've learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I've just built a calculator app, but I want to challenge myself. So give me some tasks, so give me another app that I can develop, and then go and do it. So AI is a lovely, lovely tool for generating activities and tasks and challenges for you to really test yourself and push yourself. And the beautiful thing about doing it with AI is that if you get stuck, don't go and tell it to write the code for you, but explain the challenge you're having. I don't understand how to do this. Can you give me a hint? And AI, it's so beautiful the way it works. It won't just give you the answers, but it'll guide you along the journey. And that will, again, just help you understand the code that you've learned and put everything together. And you do that a couple of times and you'll see it will just sink in and it'll become like second nature to you. You'll be able to open up a document and just populate it with code that does exactly what you need in record times.
Beautiful. I think as Nolotando did say, in the previous question, to say it is possible for you guys to use the power of AI just to guide you. And I know obviously, you guys may get flustered, throughout the course of this journey, as you guys have been bombarded with, so much, knowledge and information. But obviously you guys can use some form of tools, to help you, get out of those particular, hurdles that you may overcome. But also, Talaha, obviously I know that this is a far stretch because we have over 2,000 applicants, but also wouldn't it have been amazing to have had mentors, throughout the course of, just this journey, for them just to also be able to help those that may be, stuck, or those that maybe need additional help, and obviously without having, to waste time where they get that help after a couple of, weeks or something, So was that something that we probably could look into?
Yeah, no, it's something that we actually have, and it was IT Varsity students that came to the rescue. So there's about 80 of them that got together and wanted to support the App Academy students as much as possible.
Beautiful.
And so, yeah, they are very active on TikToks. They've developed this little page of their own where you can go and get support. So yeah, just hang around in the comment section, ask questions, and definitely they will get in touch with you and lend support. As well as that, I've noticed that there's so many people who on their own have created entire content libraries on TikTok and YouTube where they're teaching the App Academy content and explaining everything in more detail. So yeah, look around for those as well. Just some of the things this community has done is amazing.
Beautiful. It's always nice to see that there are people who are there, to guide and to teach and to help. Obviously, this is not a handout, it's a hand up. So let's also go on social media and thank the IT, varsity mentors that are there for us. As Talaha said, there's over 80 of them that are there to help you guys and assist you, which is truly, truly impeccable. I also want to extend, on behalf of the App Academy, to say thank you so much to all of those that have been instrumental with helping, the developers in this beautiful journey. All right, so Nolotando, I'm coming to you. So right now, Nolotando, I want to learn more and I want to grow my skills further, right? What advice, Nolotando, could you give me in helping me do so?
All right, so I think my first advice is focus on the App Academy. Finish the course because, like Dala said, there's more to come. I know we've already provided you guys with a lot of stuff, but there's actually more to come.
Yeah.
So focus on finishing the App Academy. Then you'll be able to navigate where I think we say you guys have two options, but I say you guys have literally three options. So the first option is obviously the formal one where you now decide I want to continue and further my studies in
Yeah.
app and web development. So the first thing you need to do is do research. What qualification do you guys want to do? Whether it's an NQF level 5, a degree, a diploma, right? Which institution do you guys want to enroll in? Check whether it aligns with your values or what you guys are looking for. I think you guys can also reach us to us on that App Academy mailbox just for if you want advice or guidance. We will not tell you what to do, but I think the best we can do is advise you,
Yeah.
right? And then just search for the institution you guys want to study at, see whether it aligns with what you guys want to do, and then also just do research. That's why I say first finish with the App Academy, then you guys can decide, okay, do I want an NQF level 5 certification? Do I want to go to university, to colleges, or
Yeah.
also there's private institutions as well. But just don't think about getting a qualification because it's not about it that only. Also, just do you picture yourself, studying maybe, let's say if you choose like a university degree, do you picture yourself studying for 4 years and then what's going to happen after that?
Yeah.
Like I said, just have like a dream board or like, a vision board where okay, the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth, after I get my qualification, what's going to happen next? And then the second option you guys have is you can study on your own. There's short courses on YouTube. There's other programs as well that teach in your coding boot camps. There you can, skill yourself. There's so many programming languages out there in the world that you guys can learn. But just App Academy is introduction to the world of coding. You've learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then there's more to unpack as well. So you have like a sort of direction in terms of if I want to focus on these 5 programming languages, where can I study? That's why research is very, very important. And then that option, I say you have an option as well to send your CVs after the App Academy. Talking from experience as well, we have IT varsity graduates that have sent out their CVs to companies, whether it's for a permanent position, whether it's for an internship or learnership.
Beautiful.
They got the job. We've had students that worked with AWS. They moved to cloud computing. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So you actually can just make sure that you update your CV, your portfolio is up to date. Remember, on the first beginner level, we talked about sharing your journey on social media as well, because most IT companies check even your social media. They want to look at the beginning of your journey with App Academy, because maybe let's say it was the first time you guys were doing coding, the challenges that you guys face. So it is very, very important to use social media as well to build your portfolio. I think you guys, the first week we learned on how to design a website, so you guys can literally create your own website portfolio as well. Make sure your LinkedIn is up to date. So 3 options: further your studies using a registered institution, or you can use softwares like YouTube to upskill yourself,
Yeah.
or you can literally just now say, I am ready. But remember, if you want to venture into this career of app and web development, you need to acquire the right skills. So you need to be willing to learn. You need to just be open to learning new skills, because with technology, it's getting advanced literally each and every day. So you have to keep training yourself. I know they say there's no limit to learning, but with IT, I have to say there is no limit, because literally every day just a few years ago, we introduced to ChatGPT. What's going to come next, we all don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think about it. Just go through, finish the entire program, sit down with yourself and ask yourself, where do I want to go? But in the meantime, while you guys are still going through the program, build your portfolio. build your put every new skill that you guys are learning down. You can even just have a notebook where you note down, okay, this week we learned this and that. That will go down on your CV if you decide you want to go out to companies like Google, like Amazon. If you decide, oh, it's fine, I want to venture my studies, just note down and see which programming languages, or I think if you are noting things down, you'll be able to see, okay, maybe this language, I'm good with this. Because when I talk about myself, I say, when it comes to coding or technology, there are a few things where I also lack, but there are a few things that I would really, really like to, learn more about. So that's just my advice. Finish App Academy first, and then I think this will sort of help you navigate into the right direction.
Beautiful, Nolatondo. You might make me shed a tear, with how inspirational you are, Nolatondo. There's someone that's out here asking advice on, how to further and develop their skills, and you literally gave them a perfect blueprint, right, for them to literally have a sort of idea on what they can do, which is number one, do research, right, in the journey that you guys want to go into. Number two, there are online courses, right? Internet is available for everyone. And also thirdly, utilize the power of sending your CVs, put yourself out there. Don't just have information and then you don't take the next step, which is to allow people to know, about you and also know what you can do, which is beautiful. But also Talaha did mention early on to say the App Academy is just an introduction to, this whole app developing journey. So there's a whole lot more that is out there. There's also another time to mention there's just so much more than just what is presented to you guys. But this is the perfect package just to introduce you guys to, the beauty of building and creating those amazing apps. Am I correct, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
The sky is the limit.
All right. So, Atalaha, obviously we spoke about this in the first session, and people are still probably wanting to know is where do we submit our assignments? Where do the developers submit their assignments?
Yeah, so there's no submissions at the moment, right? For now, all you have to do is just make sure you are completing the lessons and attending the live sessions. Now, towards the end of the App Academy, once we start getting close to that final date, then the assessment will come up and we'll send you instructions on how to complete that. It's going to be an online examination, and we'll send you instructions on how you can go about completing it, submitting it, and receiving your certificate at the end.
And beautiful. So obviously, Nolatondo, people are asking, what type of assessments will we be required to complete?
Okay, so it will be online. It will be like an online exam assessment that you guys will be required to complete. It covers everything that you guys have learned on the App Academy. And because I like you guys, I'm just going to give you a little bit of scope. It consists of the live lectures. So it's important that you guys watch everything. And then also the work that was covered on your tutorials as well. So if you guys can make sure that you guys are attending the live lessons and you are understanding your tutorials as your tutorial videos and lesson or notes being given to you, I think you guys will do well when it comes to the exam.
All right, guys, let's head over to social media and thank Nolatondo. She says she loves you guys so much that she's giving you guys some nuggets, or some input or some advice on those assessments. All right, so Talaha, on to you. So what will then the assessments entail, and when will these take place?
Right, so towards the last week of during the last week of the App Academy, that's when we're going to send you your exam instructions. As Nol mentioned, it's going to include questions that deal with actual code that you've been writing as part of the curriculum, but it's also going to feature questions from the live sessions, so questions from the guest lectures that we've had on board. So make sure you're completing those. If you've missed any, the recordings are on YouTube and on the App of the Year website. So go over those again. If you need a refresher, make sure to do those before the exam date to make sure you are fully prepared. And remember, you'll have till the 18th of July to submit this assessment. So although the App Academy officially ends on, the 4th of July,
The 4th,
but you'll have 2 weeks beyond that to go over everything that you need, make sure you are ready, and then attempt the exam.
Beautiful. There you guys have heard it from Talaha. You guys will be given 2 weeks to complete those assessments. So from the 4th of July will probably be the end of the App Academy. Then from the 18th will then be the closing of when you guys will then submit those assessments. Awesome stuff. So now, Nolotando, back to you on, since you are now like a mother figure, you've given beautiful advice. People want to know more, but Nolotando, like, where now do I go? So obviously, Nolotando, what career opportunities are available with the FNB App Academy certificates?
All right. So once you are done with the App Academy, you've got your certificate. I'd like to say you are a developer because, you've created how many apps thus far? And then you've got the right skills. So I think you now are a junior developer. Like I said previously, you just need to think of where do you want to go. You can maybe start your freelancing journey, which remember we spoke about entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
You can say, okay, I want to design websites. Put yourself out there. You can start with volunteering. Volunteer for certain organizations near you, churches, if they don't have, some do have websites, but tell them I can create something better than what you guys already have. All right. So use your creativity as well. So you have that option to do freelancing or an option to send your CVs to the big companies out there. And like I said, there's enough for everyone to eat. There's so many IT companies that you guys don't even know of, that I don't even know of. So it's important again to do your research. But after the App Academy, you have the skill. I think you have the right skills, or we can just call you. I think we are allowed to say you are a junior developer. I don't know if Dala wants to add on that.
Yeah.
No, I think you hit it on the head. The important thing is once you're done, don't just sit with your certificate and your skills. Put yourself out there and put your skills to work. Even if you got to take on a website or two for free, for a family member or a community organization, do it. It's the experience that counts, and it's going to go a long way in setting you up for the future.
Yeah, I think also, obviously, this is just a funny remark, is a lot of people are going to now know that you guys love food. Talaha was speaking about the kitchen back in front, and Nolotando is now speaking about there's enough for all of us to eat. So we know that the context is the two of y'all love food, but obviously it's true. There's so much out there. There's an abundance, right? There's so much and endless opportunities for everybody, which is extraordinary. Nolotando, thank you so much for that. Now, Talaha, people want to know what are the requirements for receiving a certificate?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, there is the exam that's going to come up towards the end of the App Academy. It's not going to be, it's not a challenging exam. We're not trying to make you sweat and make you pull your hair out, but it is going to require you to understand everything that was covered. So the requirement, you could say, to earn the certificate is to go through all of the lesson content for the App Academy. Make sure you've completed the lessons, you've built the apps, make sure you've watched the live lectures, take notes if you have to, because that's all going to be very, very important, right? There's a certain level of prestige to this certificate. We want to get as many of you to the finishing line as possible, but we don't want to just give out certificates to anyone that registered, right? You're going to have to put in the work to get that certificate. So that's what the exam is going to be like. It's not impossibly difficult. It's not going to make you sweat, but it is going to challenge you.
Beautiful. So there it is. The ways for you guys to receive a certificate will be an exam that will be there for you guys at the end of the App Academy to test whether you guys have been there, whether you guys have been aware, whether you guys have been tuning in. And also, speaking about tuning in, Nolotando, I'm going to ask you now is, people want to know, does the App Academy track whether each developer has been tuning in or viewing each lesson?
Yes, but most importantly, remember the exam will let us know whether you guys have been accessing your work, and you guys not just accessing, because I know just because we said we are able to track, some people will just click on the video and then so that we're able to see that this user clicked on this video. The exam will let us know that you did watch and you did practice the video. So we are watching you and we are watching you.
Beautiful. But obviously now this is a side note, right? Talaha, Nolotando, I've been part of these lessons. Am I required to take an exam too? Like, I feel like right now, come on, guys, I can build a beautiful app that the world needs. This app is revolutionary. Like, it's in my mind, and I'm going to put it to practice. So I want to ask you, I don't want to take the exam. Is that fine? Just for me. Is that okay?
I mean, but why? You've come so far. Don't you want that certificate
No.
as, to cement your
Yeah.
achievement?
All right, cool. I will take the exam. I will take the exam for sure. All right. So Nolotando, I want to
can do
ask you
it, man,
now.
don't worry.
Nolotando. So they are saying now that or let me go to Talaha, right? Talaha, I don't have a laptop, right? And will I still have the opportunity to further, review the lessons, in a later stage? Will I still have access to these recordings?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, we've also had a whole bunch of questions from people who have, time commitments at the moment, so they are not able to attend the lessons. Look, FNB, Creative Space Media, us here at IT Varsity, we are passionate about education. And the App Academy isn't just about this workshop and then it's done. It's about a movement in Africa. So we are not going to take that education away from you. If you need to complete it at a later date, the lessons are always going to be available to you. We've also sent it to you via email, so it's in your inbox, it's on TikTok. We've tried to make it available everywhere as possible for that exact reason. So it'll always be with you, whether you need to complete it at a later date or whether you just need a refresher at a later date. The lessons are always going to be there and be available to you to complete. Even the live lectures, they're not going to disappear off of YouTube. They're going to remain there and you'll be able to go back and watch them as many times as you need. It is, however, worth noting that the certificate will only be available for a short duration, so up until the 18th of July. After that point, the exam closes and there won't be any submissions. So you won't be able to get the certificate, but you'll still be able to watch the lessons, build the apps, and get all of that lovely experience.
Talaha, you know what, man? You had me when you said movement. This is a movement. It takes me back to my intro when I say this is a movement, a springboard, a perfect chance for all of them to build, to create, to utilize the magic of one of South Africa's biggest brand, which is the First National Bank. Oh, man, this is not just an online course. No, sir. It's a movement. All right, so Talaha, obviously you said something that was also, instrumental to say, from the moment that the App Academy closes, the 4th of July till the 18th, that is when the certificates will be available. But after that, it won't be, but the lessons will always be online. So I think that literally perfectly answers the importance of that beautiful question. So thank you so much, Talaha. Now, Nolotando, back to you, mother. Will we receive any feedback after submitting any of these assessments?
Yes, you will receive feedback after you are done with your assessments and you have received your certificates if you have passed. I'm not sure if Dala wants to add, do they have unlimited attempts on if maybe they fail the exam on the first attempt? How many attempts do they have?
Yeah,
Is it limited or not?
So yeah, it is an exam, so you only have one attempt. So it's important to just get everything sorted, make sure you are properly prepared before you attempt the quiz. And it's also going to be timed. So you'll have a limited time in order to complete the assessment. All of these instructions we'll give it to you again closer to the date when the exam will be sent out. And we'll brief you properly on that. But yeah, that's just to help you prepare a little bit. And you will get your grade at the end of the exam as well. So you'll know how well you did and you can compare that with your friends.
Wow. So you guys only have one opportunity to make it count. So I do hope that you guys make it count. As Eminem says, you only have one opportunity. So Talaha, thank you so much for that. Now Talaha, is the Visual Studio Code the only code editor we can use for the course?
Yeah, so I think this was a question that featured in our previous session as well. Look, Visual Studio Code is the editor that we recommend simply because it's lightweight, it's intuitive, it's easy to use, it's easy to get started with. There are hundreds others out there. If you're more comfortable with those, go for it. There's no restrictions and you're not going to be tested on which code editor you're using. In fact, most PCs come stock with a few, but they don't have as many features as VS Code. So yeah, go for the one that you want, but we recommend, especially for students, Visual Studio Code.
All right, beautiful. There you guys have heard it from Talaha. Now, Nolotando, people are asking now, can I pause the course and then continue later if I have other commitments?
Yes, you can. As mentioned earlier, that if it happens you don't have a laptop, you have work commitments, you can always pause, come back to learn and to do your apps or projects that you are supposed to be doing. But also noting the fact that Dala mentioned that although the program ends on the 4th, but you have until the 18th
18th.
of July to do the examination so that you're able to get your certification. So just note that, okay, fine, I can pause, but you need to come back at some point and then make sure that you guys are learning everything. You're watching the live lessons so that you'll be able to pass the exam and get your certificate as well.
Beautiful. So you guys can pause, if needed, right? And obviously, by the 4th will be the end of the App Academy, but you guys will be given a 2 weeks window to then prepare for the exam, right? So that pause that you guys will take cannot be no longer than till the 18th of July, which everything will be then done. All right. So Talaha, obviously the final, question for today's proceedings, which has been truly, inspirational to have this engagement with you guys. But obviously, so they say that next week will be the advanced and the final level of the App Academy, right? So what's in store for us, Talaha?
So I know we've said this before, but we're really going to kick things up a notch this time. No, but this is going to be the biggest jump yet. In fact, we're changing things entirely. We're going to completely leave the familiarity, the comfort of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We're leaving front-end development entirely. And next week, you're going to start your journey into back-end development. So, the API that you were calling when you built the contact book app? Well, now you're going to learn how to actually build APIs like that. That's what the advanced session is all about. So we're going to make sure that by the end of the App Academy, you are a well-rounded developer that's familiar with both the front-end stuff and the back-end stuff. And so there's going to be a new language that we introduce, which is Python. And I know we mentioned this earlier, and a lot of people on TikTok got very, very nervous about it. But look, don't worry. Just like before, it sounds scary now, but we're going to break it down. We're going to introduce it to you one step at a time. And you've got this. You've come this far. You can take it the rest of the way. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a whole new environment. But you have what it takes. I really believe that if you've made it this far, you definitely can make it all the way through to the end. And we've also got some pretty exciting lectures coming out. We have some lectures that are around back-end development and building APIs from the ground up using Python and some other tools that are out there. And then we're going to finish off the App Academy. The final couple of lectures are critically important. They are more business oriented. So there is going to be a lecture on business funding. So once you have an app set up and you're ready to take it to market, how you can go to raise funds for that business, where you go, what you need to have with you, what you need to prepare before you go. We're going to show you how to do all of that, as well as marketing. There's a whole lecture on marketing your app. So after you've built this beautiful app, you've made sure that it solves a problem, you made sure to apply the principle of design thinking. Now it's time to get it in front of as many people as possible, which sometimes is a lot harder than it thinks. But we got you covered. We're going to have a whole lecture about that to show you exactly how to take your app to market and put it in front of as many people as possible. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up. Stay tuned.
Hey, Talaha, I'm already excited, man. I think it's also important just to mention the aspect of not just, on the innovation side, but also on the importance of the entrepreneurial side, right? They also need to know a little bit about, taking their apps and obviously, marketing it from a particular aspect of business, bringing in money, for these beautiful apps. All right, guys, so that's it right now with Noluthando and Talaha. It's always extraordinary to have an engagement with you guys. It's always beautiful to hear from you guys. You guys always sound so thrilled and excited to talk about what you guys do best. And this is what you guys do best, and you guys are in a journey of helping others. There's a beautiful saying that says, each one teach one. When you have acquired the knowledge that you have and you're able to give it to the next generation, that generation will now be given into the better hands, and they can also teach those that will come after them, which will then put us in a better place as a nation and as a digital ecosystem. So guys, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys had an amazing time, as did I. Listen guys, go on social media, please. Let's thank Talaha. Let's thank Noluthando. Please, let's give them flowers right now because they've been instrumental in this beautiful ecosystem of the App Academy. I am your host. My name is Karabo Mohola. Please don't forget to hashtag FNB App Academy. See you guys next time as we then... Next session will be the power now of Talaha saying we are taking things one step up, right? We're going into advanced phase. We are now advanced. We're no longer beginners. We're no longer spoon feeding you guys. We're not giving you guys milk. We're going to give you guys substance. We're going to give you guys solid stuff. How to take those apps and, can't wait, man. Guys, thank you guys so much, man. Have an amazing one. Noluthando, Talaha, peace.
Peace.
All right, that's it right here from the App Academy. We had an amazing session with Noluthando and Talaha. They have been really instrumental right here at the App Academy. So please, let's also head over to social media and thank Noluthando and Talaha for their instrumental journey right here at the App Academy. So the next time we see you will then be the beginning of the advanced phase where we give you guys the intro to the back-end development. I hope you guys are excited for that. We're about to be growing and going more strong. As Talaha did say, the more we go, the more knowledge that will be given to you guys. I hope you guys are ready for that. All right, guys, I am your host. My name is Karabo Mohola. Always thrilled and excited to be part of the beautiful ecosystem, which is the App Academy. See you guys next time. Don't forget to hashtag FNB App Academy. Remain active on our social media spaces. See you guys next time. Peace.